Republicans try to cut Social Security. It's not going to get by the Senate, in my view, but I'll stop them. If they try to cut Medicare, I'll stop them. I got a veto pen. They try to pass the 30% national sales tax, I'll stop them. And if they send me a national ban on the right to choose, I will stop them.
35 past the hour, President Biden speaking Friday at the Democratic National Committee's annual winter meeting in Philadelphia. At this point, President Biden faces no meaningful opposition to his leadership of the Democratic Party and a smooth path to renomination next year, even before he has officially declared his intention to seek it. As for the nominating process, the Democratic National Committee has adopted a new primary schedule, one that will dethrone Iowa and New Hampshire as the lead-off states in the Democrats' presidential nominating process. Under the new rules, South Carolina will go first, then Nevada and New Hampshire, followed by Georgia and Michigan. However, the proposed calendar changes are not yet final. Georgia will need cooperation from Republicans in the state to change the primary date. And officials from both sides of the aisle in New Hampshire are vowing to fight the DNC schedule changes and still hold their primary first. Party officials are giving both states until June 3rd to finalize their calendars. Joining us now, Chairman of the Democratic National Committee, Jaime Harrison. And Jaime, I'll toss to John Heilman for the first question. John?
Mr. Chairman, good morning and happy Monday. A big move by the Democratic Party here. It's been many years when these traditions. Iowa goes first, followed by immediately after by New Hampshire. New Hampshire alone on the following Tuesday. Now out the window. Talk to us. Just walk us through what the calendar now looks like and what the reasoning was behind that. We have some general sense of it, but the reasoning that put this new five-part calendar in February looks totally different. What the reasoning was that led you guys there?
Well, John, Joe, Mika, is always great to be with you, and I need to say hello to the most avid Morning Joe watcher, which is my mom, Patricia. But listen, this calendar looks like the Democratic Party, and it reflects the diversity of America. When you look at it, we start off with three small states. We start with South Carolina, that has chosen the Democratic nominee every time since 1992, with the exception of 2004 with John Edwards. John Kerry got second here in South Carolina. We then moved 3 days later to two other small states, New Hampshire, which has traditionally been the second contest, as you all know, Iowa, then New Hampshire. New Hampshire retains that spot. And then we also add Nevada, which elevates Latino voters. And then we go to two larger states. We go to Georgia, which is the home of the New South. And then we go to Michigan, which is the heart of the heartland. It's where the middle class was born. So I'm really, really excited about this calendar because I think it does reflect the best of the Democratic Party and the best of America.
Chairman Harrison, good morning. Jonathan Lemire. I know this will be a decision and the order could be reevaluated in 4 years. That's part of this. But New Hampshire's pretty unhappy now. They say that things have changed. Yes, they're still second, but they're no longer the first primary. South Carolina has jumped them. And we're hearing from very prominent Democrats in that state, forget about the Republicans, very upset about it and saying they simply won't play ball. So what are you going to do?
Well, again, I note this for a second time. New Hampshire has always been the second presidential nominating contest, and it continues to hold that position in this calendar. But let's take a step back. For 50 years, I just turned 47 yesterday, so longer than I was alive. For 50 years, Iowa and New Hampshire have been, the 1-2 step as it relates to selecting the next nominee for the Democratic Party. We are just changing that. We're giving more people and more voices an opportunity to influence where we go as a party and where we go as a nation. And I think that's really important for us to continue to evolve. So this is what we're going to do. We have told New Hampshire we will continue to work with you. Again, they are in the same spot, actually probably even a little better because instead of having a week between Iowa and New Hampshire, there'll be 3 days between South Carolina and New Hampshire. So they're still going to have tremendous influence over the process, just as much as they've always had, but we're adding more diverse voices because our party reflects those diverse voices. So
Jamie,
we're willing to work with them, and we will continue to do just that.
Yeah, and Jamie, so we need to give people a historical perspective here. It isn't like this just happened. I mean, if you read some op-eds on the far right, they'll say, oh, Joe Biden's doing this to rig the election for next year or for 24. This has been a legitimate complaint among Democrats for decades. You have two of the whitest states in America going 1 and 2. Usually by the end of those two contests, the narrative is framed and nobody else can get through it. And I remember us commenting on this show after Biden got crushed in Iowa and Biden got crushed in New Hampshire and people were saying he's out of the race. I remember us commenting. I wrote a Washington Post article about it. I said, wait a second, wait. You actually have a Democratic candidate that's going to be kicked out of a race before black voters, the Democratic Party's most important constituency, even have a say in it. These two states, as close as they are to our hearts, we love them for 1,000 different reasons pertaining to this show, and we have so many friends there in Iowa and New Hampshire. But these two states do not reflect the diversity of the Democratic Party, and this has been an ongoing complaint for 20 years.
Joe, you hit the nail on the head. You know, President Biden said when he visited South Carolina in the last contest, by the time he got there, it was the 4 contests. There were a number of the candidates that had already dropped out. But as he said, 99.9% of black voters had not had the chance to vote at that point. And that just should not be when African Americans and Latino Americans make up such an important component, the backbone of the Democratic Party. And so we needed to change things up because things have changed a lot since the 1970s. The Democratic Party looks very differently than it did then. And so we have to constantly evolve. And this is a part of that evolution. And I'm proud of this calendar. And I think it's going to only strengthen the Democratic Party long term.
So if a state doesn't abide by the rules, do you just not count their primary delegates?
Well, hopefully we are not going to get down that road, Joe, but we have passed some mechanisms that give the chair some authorities in order to enforce our calendar. And if we have to go down that route, we will. But we're going to do everything that we can to work with our states. Again, New Hampshire is still in. I mean, if anybody should be complaining, it'd be Iowa, right? But New Hampshire is still in the same spot that they have always been in, the second nominating contest, and we will continue to work with them to ensure that they participate fully in this process.
All right, DNC Chairman Jaime Harrison, thank you so much. And Patricia, thank you so much for watching.
Thanks, Patricia.
We greatly appreciate it.
We love you, Mom. All right, come.